How's it going? Today I'm going to be talking about my stop motion workflow. I got a little comment the other day about somebody wanting to check this out. They was curious. It's on my He-Man and Skeletor video. So let's get right into it, shall we? So first off, I come up with an idea. And a lot of times I just wing it, you know? Sometimes I'll write it down so I remember, or a nice little tip is I'll text it to myself and not send it so it shows up on the top of my messages. And then the next point is I'll set it up. So let me give like a checklist first, and then I'll kind of go into some details. So I got my thing here I'm reading, so if I look over there, that's why I know what I'm saying. Okay, so first to come up with an idea, write it down if necessary. Sometimes I'll just keep it up here and I'm like, okay, that's something I'm going to work out at some point. I set up everything, so I set up my stage, I film it, I edit it, review the video, make sure, and then I upload it to YouTube and all the social media platforms in the world, except for a lot of them. So, first off, I write it down. Something comes into my head, and I know I'm going to forget it. I definitely write it down. I'll write it down in my notes on my phone. I'll write it in, or like in a text message, and I'll send it to myself, or not send it to myself, you know what I'm saying? And then, that way I remember to go back to it. So the next step is that I'll write up a short script or storyboard, if necessary. Majority of the time I don't do this, but if it is something I want to remember, or if it's something I'm not going back to in a while, I will write something up so I can reference it in case I forget anything. It just depends on when I think I'm going to shoot it. A lot of times I'll have ideas, and it'll be like months before I even shoot it. So yeah, a lot of times I'll start shooting and I'll just go with the flow, you know, I'll kind of wing it. Sometimes that brings a nice organic feel to it. And the stuff I do is really short. Like I focus almost like 90% on doing shorts, like in like vertical format. And that actually leads to the next step is like, if I'm doing something longer, I will have a script or storyboard because it is nice to bounce back from that and to reference. And it's good practice, you know. I am just one person though, so I try to do as many shortcuts as possible. So the next thing is I decide the format, which is pretty much 90% vertical ratio, or 9:16, because that's what everybody watches, and that's what social medias promote. So TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, those are the four I use. I don't really do post on anything else, but I do post on each of those regularly. Whenever I create something, I post on each one. And it's pretty much always vertical because, like I said, that's what they're promoting. That's what people tend to watch more because, you know, it's just shorter content. I will do long form videos sometimes, but if they're under a minute, I'll post the widescreen and then I'll eventually post it in a short version of it if it's under a minute. If it's longer than that, obviously you can't, but whenever I compare, this was actually a good example. So this is actually a good example, and I'll post some images here. So when I posted the He-Man versus Skeletor video as just like a horizontal widescreen version, it got 127 views. Got 127 views and 8 likes. But when I posted it as a short, it got 587 views, and I actually got 5 subscribers from that video, the shorts version, and I also got like 30 likes, I think, on it. So yeah, it's just telling, you know, that's what they're these platforms are catering to. So if you want to get your stuff seen, I think it's important to focus on that, and that's kind of where I've gone, and that's the direction I've taken. And I kind of like it since I am one person, that doing shorts is obviously quicker, and it's as like a solo artist, it's more satisfying that way, because it's harder, obviously, to do a long project and then get like, and nobody sees it. So, but whatever, it's fine, man. When I started this, I didn't expect to get this many followers. I mean, does anybody? I mean, I kind of went into it just because it was my passion. I wanted to share it with people, and I think that's what you should focus on. That's the most important thing. If you love it, if you enjoy doing it, keep doing it, and then if you get seen, you get seen. If you don't, then when you truly love it, you'll keep doing it. Anyway, so yeah, decide the format. Yes, typically vertically. And then before I shoot, I set up my stage, which I was going to show you actually here in a second. Here. So here is my stage. I have a nice poster board. This is just like a cardboard poster board that I get from a department store. And then I got this backdrop from the online. I forget the website, but I have a couple of them. And it's nice to just keep that there, and then I'll put up walls from extremedioramas.com. And then I get all my figures set up that I'm going to use for the next shoot. That way they're ready to go. So even if I don't shoot the same day, these will be sitting here waiting for me, ready to go. I think that kind of helps me get the motivation to be like, hey, look, these are waiting for you, man. Go do it. Also, this Bloodborne figure is pretty sick. Not a huge fan of the range of motion on the Figma figures, the ball joints. But he's a pretty awesome figure. Comes with all those weapons. But I was going to do a video with him attacking these guys. Yeah, that's my overarching setup. Got a bunch of crap on the side there. But when I'm shooting, it's just going right here. So another thing, I used to shoot mostly on my phone using Stop Motion Studio Pro, which is only like $5.99. It's actually a really good deal. It's a really good app. You can get it on the computer or you can get it on your phone. Both are very good. It's worth the price. It's a good starting point. But I now have Dragon Frame, which is a very high-end professional software, computer software. And I have a pretty nice camera, which I'm shooting on right now, the Canon EOS 50. I've had for a while. And I tend to keep going to my cell phone because it was more convenient, but now I've been trying to shoot on my nice camera using Dragon Frame, so I get used to that software because I've been kind of neglecting it. I've been really wanting to learn it, but using my phone has just been so much easier. So that being said, while I'm shooting, I try not to use any rigs, so I don't have to spend time removing them. In my mind, I'm just thinking like, how can I pull this off without having to do as little work as possible, but still having the end product come out satisfying. So a couple tips is when I'm shooting is like, a lot of times I can just take the figure and just hold it off screen as I'm animating it, if I need to, or like say like the feet, he's like in a weird position, I can just take my hand and just moving down out of shot and move him slowly like this without having to rely on a rig to hold him up. You see what I'm saying? So it's stuff like that that helps, especially when you're doing it like the vertical aspect ratio. You can get away with stuff because I could like hold his arm or something. Oh, and to go back, a lot of times the ideas I get are from the capabilities of a figure. So the He-Man short, I focused on the fact that this looks so insane that it would obviously kill him if he actually used that range of motion. Once I'm done shooting, I typically shoot 15 to 24 frames per second. And then once I'm satisfied with the shoot, I try not to be too perfectionist with it. But you know, it is what it is. So once shooting is finished, I move on to the post-production, which sometimes I'll do it on my phone if it's really short and I'm not going to use a lot of sound or visuals. I'll do it on my phone using UCut. It's a nice little app. You can post in sounds. You can have different layers of the video. And if it is a little more visual heavy or sound heavy, I'll do it on the computer using Movavi. It's a pretty cheap video editing software. I also have a subscription to Production Crate. I think it's like $50 or $60 a year, but I get a ton of sounds, a ton of effects and visuals that are helpful in my projects, and it's been really useful. If I don't use that, I'll sometimes rip from YouTube, and that can be as simple as using internet thingy to do it, or just holding my phone up to the YouTube video if I'm editing on my phone, and it's good enough at that point. And then once it's done, I just upload it to YouTube if I think it looks good. I always put like my tag on it, stop Tominate, just in case somebody remixes or reposts it. They'll probably cut it off anyway, or blur it out, whatever. But I like to put it on there just so it's known who did it. And I think that's important because there's so much stuff out there, it's easy to be overlooked. So even if that gets overseen, even if that gets overlooked itself, I think it kind of shows that I just think watermarks are kind of important in this type of stuff because I put a lot of time into these. I want it to be known that I was the person that did it. So yeah, after that, I upload it to every single platform I can: Instagram, TikTok. Why did I just have a brain lapse? Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Yeah, YouTube. What's wrong with me? But anyway, and a lot of times I don't care about what day I post it, but I definitely notice that when I post on a Saturday or Sunday, I'll get more attention. I think Sunday might be the best for me, I've noticed. I think a lot of people are it's downtime day before the work week, so whew. So yeah, I tried to make that as concise as possible. Hopefully it's helpful to people out there. If you have any questions, comment below. I will definitely get back to you as much as possible. I like to engage with the community. Or if you have any questions if you have an idea for a future video you're curious about or you want to see me make, I'll consider it. You know what I'm saying? So, talk to you later. Peace be with you.